Hi, you guys. I hope you guys are all doing well. This whole season is kind of crazy, and all of us are kind of going, what's going on? And God, where are you at in all of this? But I hope that you guys are reminded during this time that God is still present. He's still at work. This whole year, we've been learning all about how different people had really, really hard days that were just sad. And yet, God was so good and so powerful. He is so good and powerful that he was able to even flip those to be good, to turn those bad days into good days. And so this whole year we've been talking about faith champions, people who God used to do something amazing even with their bad days, and people who really put their trust in God, and God did amazing things with them, not because they were talented or smart or cool enough or anything like that, but because God chose to use them. But today I want to talk about Jesus, because Jesus is different than all the other faith champions, and he is like the ultimate faith champion. We talked about at Easter how Jesus died and came back to life, and that's something to celebrate. But some of us might think like, well, but why does it matter that Jesus died and came back to life? What does that matter to me? And how does that impact everybody else? What's really different about Jesus than all these other faith champions we've talked about? And so today I want to do a little video to show you a little bit about that. And you can actually do this at home yourself. So if you want to get a piece of paper, you can get a napkin or a piece of binder paper or plain copy paper and just get a pen. And you can do this sitting at a desk, but I'm going to do it up here on a wall so you can see it a little bit better. So when we look around the world right now, we can see, and even before the coronavirus stuff, we can see that there were people all over the world who are just in brokenness. Life was just hard and sad. People are broken. We can see this, how people steal from each other or they lie. They lie to each other. Maybe even at the playground, the way people would bully other people or treat each other really poorly or talk down to others. Just if you've ever experienced that, you can go, I see the brokenness in the world. People do all sorts of mean things to people. But here's the thing. This world is not what God had originally wanted for us. God had originally made a world that was designed, his perfect design, for us to be in a relationship with him, for us to know him, to be loved by him, to love each other. This was God's perfect design. But from the beginning of time, every single person has turned from God's perfect design. They've run away from God's design. And we call this sin. It's kind of a fancy word that we talked about. All the things that we do to each other, we hurt each other, we wrong each other. When we turn from God, when we do something else than what God designed for us, that's called sin. And so this is how we're supposed to live. And all of us, we live in this state of brokenness. We do things for ourselves. We think about ourselves. We do things that hurt others. And here's the thing, though. None of us want to live like this. We recognize that this is not the right way to live. And so all of us, we try to find ways to get out of it. Some of us might try to be really, really nice to other people. If we're just really, really good, we're really, really nice, we won't feel like this. Some of us try to just have lots of friends. If we have lots of friends, that'll make us feel good. Maybe even try to be popular or cool enough. Other people might do things, you might hear people about drinking too much alcohol or doing other things that are good for themselves. They might try to make poor choices that try to see if they'll make them feel better, but it doesn't. And the thing about this is, look at these. They act like bungee cords. Whenever you try to do any of these things, it might start feeling good for a little bit, but they snap you back in to the state of brokenness. Nothing we can do from the beginning of time, nothing we could do could get us out of this state of brokenness back with God and his perfect design. The only thing that could happen is what Jesus did. You see, God does not want us to stay in that state of brokenness. And so God came down to the earth. He came down to the earth and he went to a cross. This is Jesus going to the cross. Do you see that? And then the cool thing is, he came back to life. And God said, you can't get out of this state of brokenness, but if you turn and you say, I don't want to live in this state of brokenness anymore, and I realize, oh, I need Jesus. I want to be back in here. And you turn from this state and say, I sin, I mess up, I can't get out of this, I don't want to be here anymore. And you say, Jesus, I believe that you did come down to the earth, you died on a cross, and you came back to life. You are basically saying, I believe that Jesus is my king, my ruler, the one I should be putting my trust into. Now, when you do this, this is the cool thing. It actually is what gets you out of the state of brokenness. That's the only way you can get out. And so now you get to be and live as the person, how God intended you to live, to be back into a relationship with Him where you know who you are. You know you are loved by God. You get to know Him and He gets to know you more, and you trust Him. Now, here's the fun part about this, is there's usually only two kinds of people in this world. People who are in this state where they are in God's design. They love God. They're trusting Him. And there's people here living in brokenness. And so the question is, as we've gone throughout this whole year, is where are you? We've seen a lot of different people who were sad and broken. And when they chose to trust in Jesus, God helped them. God brought them back into a relationship with them. So where are you? Where do you want to be? I know I want to be here. Some of you may feel like you're here, and maybe today you need to trust Jesus. Trust Him. Believe that He came to the earth, died on the cross, came back to life, and put your trust in Him so that He can help you wherever you go. Now, when you look at this, you can see Jesus is very different than all the other people we've been learning about this year, right? Jesus, He's the one who brings us back into a relationship with God. He helps us out of this state of brokenness. The other people we've been learning about this year are really awesome. They're really cool. They are faith champions because God used them to do awesome things in the world. But the difference is Jesus really is God, and He did such amazing things. He did this for us, for every single one of us. And it doesn't matter how old we are. It doesn't matter what we've done. He always loves us. And once you choose to follow Him, nothing you can do can take His love away from you. He just loves you that much. And so I hope this encourages you today as you're thinking about all the stuff that's going around in the world. If you're feeling sad and broken, maybe this is the time to turn to Jesus. He loves you so, so much. He is the ultimate faith champion that made a way for us to be in a relationship with God. So I love you guys. I hope that encourages you. And I hope you think about this today. Where are you? And where do you want to be? And maybe today, if you want to be here, just pray. Just talk to God and say, God, I want to be here with you. I put my trust in you. I believe that you came to the earth, died on a cross, and came back to life. And how amazing will it be to see what God does in your life? All right, you guys, I love you. Have a good day. Bye.